Welcome back to another episode of Silent Pals Go to the Movies. This is another Throwback Thursday review, and today I'll be reviewing 12 Angry Men from 1957. And just a fair warning, there's going to be spoilers up ahead, so you've been warned. The jury in a New York City murder trial is frustrated by a single member whose skeptical caution forces them to more carefully consider the evidence before jumping to a hasty verdict. So let's begin with my first pro. The many ways you can view this film. For example, you can go through the movie and see who each character is, or see how the director began with a high wide angle shot, and as the movie progressed it became lower angle and tighter angle, or the simple fact that one room was used in many creative ways, and so on and so on. You can even separate the way each person spoke in the film in a way it seemed to show every social class in society and how each person is perceived. Next point, the limited number of cast members. Well, sure, you can say, well, how many people can be in a movie about a jury? Well, you can actually add a few, maybe judges, lawyers, witnesses, jury staff, and so on, but keeping it small and not giving them names except for two, and that is at the end of the movie. This movie wanted the viewers to focus on who the characters were and what made them pick the verdict. Somewhat of a nature versus nurture case, in my point of view. We see this in a few characters, that they are quick to judge due to their personal views on race, age, or where a person was raised, and even education, which juror number 10 made a great case about when he said, "Bright, he's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English," which juror number 11 replied to, "He doesn't speak good English." This was a great example because juror number 11 was a foreigner to this country, and you can tell due to his accent. And for him to correct juror number 10, who seemed to be born in this country, kind of drove the point home. By keeping this cast small and keeping them in one small space made the film a great study of characters. Next, the idea of who we are in society to dictate a verdict on someone we hardly know, but are taking the words/evidence from other people that we don't know and using that to sentence the person on trial in the name of justice. The film then lets us see inside the room with the jurors as they reach the verdict, and the film leaves us to ponder, was the judgment left inside the room or would it follow the jurors through their lives? For instance, let's say they actually went with the guilty verdict. How would each of the jurors go through their lives knowing they sentenced a young person to death? Would they forget about it, or would it linger with them? And if so, for how long? And how would the jurors' lives change, if at any? These are the questions that I was left pondering after the film had ended, especially with the two jurors who revealed their names at the end. Yes, the verdict was not guilty, but what if the kid was actually guilty and he later on went and murdered another person? Isn't that a possibility that could linger in these jurors' minds? But like I said, I think beyond the movie's end too much. Next point, the acting was excellent in the movie. Each person did establish the character's foundation and then slowly let us see who they were really inside, especially juror number 3, played by Lee J. Cobb. How it was revealed slowly that his anger was not towards the kid on trial, but actually towards his own son, and indirectly could have been to his own father, who had raised them to be just like him. His breakdown at the end, I felt it was a great scene, and by Henry Fonda, juror number 8, that without any words just stood up, walked towards the closet to grab juror's number 3 coat and help him put it on with no words, no nothing, and yet the scene was a very impactful scene and great camera tracking done by the cameraman. Also, the scene with juror number 10, who was played by Ed Begley, when he goes on a racist rant about their kind, quote unquote, and each juror just stands up and turns their back on him, and then juror number 4, played by E.G. Marshall, tells him, "Now sit down and don't open your mouth again." This is where he lets his true colors show, and everyone without a word or physical interaction lets him know he has crossed the line. Remember, back when this film was made, there was no worries about being woke nor politically correct, and it's sad that even now there are people just like juror number 10 that will label a mass group of people based on a single person's action. But I would like to think that just like the movie and the rest of the jurors who stood up and turned their backs on him and made it known that they don't share the same views as him, in real life there are people that outnumber people just like juror number 10 in their views. And now on to my cons. The only con for this movie I can point out would be the continuity errors, but even those are very small and don't take much from the film. But I feel that it's just fair to mention. But other than that, I found this film to have aged well and is still relevant in this time. So my final grade for this movie is going to be a 9.5 out of 10. The fact that the movie is still relevant and can be used in class to teach people about different points of view, I can say that it can be dissected and analyzed in many ways, such as film studies, social studies, and other ways. And now I finally know why Henry Fonda says that even though this film did not make him any money, he considers it is his best work he did. So that does it for this review of 12 Angry Men from 1957. Please join us next time where we're going to review Oklahoma.
But if you married her. You must have wanted to.
Oh, sure, I wanted to. I wanted to marry her when I saw the moonlight shining on the barrel of her father's shotgun.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can find our social media links below. And like always, keep watching movies.